Hey everyone, it's CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and you're watching another episode of Wyrds, Witches, Witchcraft. And I'm here with my usual co-host, Obsidian Fire. Say hello.
Hey! Bonjour tout le monde, comment ça va? Oh, comme d'habitude, j'ai pas encore assez dormi, je suis dans le cirage, je suis fatiguée, mais c'est pas grave. Donc aujourd'hui, c'est questions-réponses, donc voilà, on a quelques questions. Espérons qu'on ait aussi quelques réponses. Allez, en route.
Yep. Whatever she
I'm
said.
done.
You're done. Whatever she said. Hey everyone. Tonight we're doing Q&A. This is the last live stream with Obsidian and I. Next week will be a live stream with myself and Erin Lozano from Turtle Heart Tarot next week. And then I'm going on hiatus. So Wyrds, Witches, and Witchcraft will return in October, but it'll be under a new name, although it'll probably still be this time in October. We're not sure what date in October yet, but it'll be Friday nights for us in the continental US and Saturday morning for those of you in France and parts of Europe. I don't know which parts, but
wow, Germany,
a whole bunch parts.
Spain, Italy.
It's super early over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll keep it at this time slot and this day of the week, but I'm taking a hiatus. So today is Q&A. We do have a few questions we're going to start with, but for all of you in chat, we have a nice little group in chat right now. If you have a question for us, please feel free to type it in chat. Capitals would be great. And we'll get to as many as we can in the hour that we have. So first question I have. The first question, and these were submitted by viewers on the previous video, on the previous episode, and I think I had a couple sent to me in a message, but anyway. So the first question is, can you please discuss how to use your divination tools safely and share any bad experiences you might have had with the spirit world? So this is coming off of what we were talking about last week when we were talking about divination tools.
Yeah, I've seen the question in the comments.
Okay.
The questions, but I prefer you to rephrase it just to be sure. Cheat English, you never know. Okay, so how to use divination tools safely? Well, last time we were discussing with someone about spirit board, and this person at some point said, but I do protect myself. Yeah, considering the topic, I was thinking like maybe what this individual had in mind was probably to put a white candle and maybe a piece of silver or other things that going around with the folklore around the spirit boards. And maybe this individual was thinking, this is my protection. This is not. this is not. This is just, wishful thinking. If you need to protect yourself, you're gonna be proactive into this. Having a candle is a nice point to start with, but in my opinion, it can't be just that. You need to raise energy, to put your energy into your protection. The easiest way for the one of you who practice witchcraft gonna be to cast a circle around yourself if you are worried, kind of, maybe not so sure with the tool, especially when it comes to spirit board. So if you are in this state of mind, chances are you can bring in some troubled energy because you are troubled. So surround yourself with a good circle
Yeah. I was thinking, I mean, any divination tool, and I think we covered this last week, is you want to know how to use the tool. You know,
Sure.
you want to use the proper tool for the proper the whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish with a divination tool, because like I had said before, you don't want to use a screwdriver if you're trying to hammer something in. You want to use the proper tool. I think
Yeah.
that's the first step in protecting yourself against anything. If you're, if maybe a spirit board isn't what you want to use, maybe a pendulum might work better. But yeah, protection is going to be important. Casting circle I mean, is like a basic kind of thing
It
it's
didn't
not the
even
only
come
thing
into
you
my
have to
mind.
do.
It's
Huh?
so basic. It's so basic. It didn't even come into my mind.
Right. I mean, not everybody casts circle, but you want some sort of like ward or protection for you, depending. I don't think there's a standard way
No,
to
there is
do
not.
it. So to protect yourself.
There is not. I agree. Casting a circle is like the 101 to start with. If you haven't any particular method, if you haven't any specific way in your craft, then casting a circle gonna be the go-to method
Right.
to protect yourself. But after that, there is plenty. I like to burn some loose incense, some
Mm-hmm.
herbs when I need to protect myself. I do surround myself with warding energy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm using the candle to have the flame and
Mm-hmm.
pick into its energy,
Mm-hmm.
back up mine to ward and all. But this is a personal way to go. So the easiest way for me to express that
Yeah,
to for
and I think we said last week too that however you end up protecting yourself in general. I mean, if you're doing spellcraft, or if you're holding ritual, or you're whatever it is that you do in your own practice, if you pray, maybe you say a prayer, maybe you have a special, maybe you do the LB, lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram for protection. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe you throw a sigil down. Maybe that's what you do. Whatever you do to protect yourself in a magical way, you would do that when you're using a divination tool, because you're opening a portal. You're opening a line of communication. That's
yeah,
how I think.
yeah, I agree. Whatever suits you, whatever prove itself to be effective for you, do it.
So, have you had bad experiences in the spirit world using divination tools?
Using divination tool, not really,
Yeah, me neither. Well, wait. The only, I would say, not necessarily a bad experience. It's when we were doing a seance. So we weren't really using a tool other than me. And like I said before, back in the day, I'd just like say, hey, open channel here. Come on, come on. And it was a little bit of an uncomfortable experience. But the group that I was with, it was the coven, and my husband was the high priest at the time. He took care of it, so that sort of expelled the not so pleasant entity that was trying to communicate through me, and then things were okay. So it wasn't really bad, but it wasn't really wanted. And at the end of that seance, I was more drained and more lethargic, and just not in a good place after that. But that's really the only, I've never had a bad experience with a spirit board or tarot or any other sort of things.
Yeah, me neither. The
Yeah.
bad experiences were with the people who were involved into the not with the
Isn't that
spirit world.
always the thing?
Yes, it is.
It's
And
the living people.
yes, that's what scares me. People, not the
Yeah.
spirit world.
So the next question I have is, how do you explain to your family and friends that none of what we believe and do is evil, and why we practice what we do? How do you, well, I know you don't explain it to your family.
I don't. What's my answer? I don't explain.
She doesn't. The best, I guess, the only thing that I can say is, in the very beginning, when I first sort of came out of the broom closet, the people that I was most concerned about was my mother and father. And at the time, I found a book, and I was a non-traditional Wiccan at the time. So I found a book that was a basic read, and it said something like, so someone you know is Wiccan, or something like that. And it was, I read through it first, and it was basic question and answer, and gave basic information. And I gave it to my parents, and I said, read this. If you want to know about what I practice, and it was in very basic terms, it had the basic questions that people, is it from the devil, and da 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 da. I gave that to them, and they never came back with questions. It doesn't mean that they don't think it's from the devil. They probably still do, but you can't convince someone of something that they're totally believing. You just can't. If they're really tied into what they believe and they refuse to be open-minded, you can't convince them.
No, you can force.
Yeah,
you can't force people.
You can't,
especially when they are already intricate in another
religion. Yeah,
religion. Yeah, religion can be very tricky to deal with, in my opinion, because I'm drawing a line between religion and spiritual path. To me,
yeah.
it's not the same at all. In my eyes, on a religion, you are being told what to think. You are not deciding for yourself totally. Some authorities in your church or anything is telling you what to think and what to do and what to believe and not to believe. So it's really difficult to deal with people into their religions, deep into their religions.
But you can have people who are not part of an organized religion, who are still entrenched in their spiritual beliefs, that could still be difficult to convince. I mean, you know, there are definitely people who are really tied into their own, like, this is right and that is wrong, and there's no church telling me this, but I view this as such.
Yes, of course, there is also people who are very close-minded, and those one, you can't change that either.
No, you
That's
can't.
why I'm not offering to explain anything to anyone. Because fuck that. I don't care.
Yeah, it's a really, I mean, the best you can do, at least this is my opinion, is give them the basics of what you believe and allow them to decide. And I mean, if they're going to be closed off and still think that you're practicing something that's evil, then that's their opinion, you know. The next question is, do you enjoy reading tarot more for yourself or for others?
I don't read tarot. I'm using oracle cards, and I don't read for someone else anymore since a long time. That was my bad experience.
I like reading for other people more than myself. I think I've said this before. If I want information for myself, I tend to use different divination tools. But if I'm reading for other people, I tend to use my tarot deck or an oracle deck. And so I enjoy reading it more for others. And then the next question kind of goes with it. Do most people have accurate answers from the tarot deck without practice?
Oh, I think you're gonna be the one to answer that, because I don't have much of people who read tarot around me.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, and I think this was because there was an example that this person never read tarot before, and all of a sudden they were reading, and it was super accurate. And so most people, the question, I have a problem with most people. When you're doing divination of any sort with cards or anything, you can't really compare yourself to other people. So I don't think there is most people do this or most people do that. I think that accurate answers come with experience. Accurate answers come with your connection to your whatever it is you're communicating with when you use cards. So, I mean, if you're a beginner tarot reader, but you're using the cards as a divination tool, a way to communicate with the spirit realm, and you have a strong relationship with a spiritual army, whatever it is that you work with, if your relationship is really strong and you have it on, you communicate well in whatever other ways, and then you pick up a tarot deck and you do a reading and your answers are accurate, but it's the first reading you've ever done, that's because your relationship with the spirit realm is very strong and you already have a line of communication. You're just using a different telephone to call them. But if you don't have a relationship with the spirit realm and you don't have an ongoing communication, and then you pick up a deck of tarot and you've never done divination before, I don't think it's common to get really accurate, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's unheard of.
Agree. Agree.
Yeah. It depends on the person.
It depends on how deep, if I may say, you are connected to whoever, whichever, whatever entities are around you, and on your psychic gifts, maybe if I may say, abilities, psychic abilities.
Yeah.
All of this goes hand in hand when it comes, especially when it comes to divination.
I agree. 100%. This individual for the next question lives in the Bible Belt, and what they are seriously, literally, there's a church on every corner in their town. They're right in the Bible Belt. And they have 3 really close friends, and they know what this person believes in. And then they have a friend who was having a hard time with them and their girlfriend. Oh, no. They had a friend who was having a hard time. And this person and their girlfriend went to check on this friend who was having a hard time. And this friend asked this person's girlfriend to pray for her, but she didn't ask the querent. So the querent was like, have you ever gotten that kind of response from your friend or friends? Like, they know what you believe in, but they basically won't ever ask. So it would be like, okay, like me and a friend of mine who, or say my husband was Christian. He's not, but pretend my husband's Christian. So me and my husband went to go see a friend who might also be maybe just spiritual. Went to go see this friend that was spiritual who was having a hard time. And this friend asked my husband to pray for her, but didn't ask me because they knew I'm a witch. Have you ever had some sort of experience like that?
No,
You're shocked? No, because you don't share that you're.
No, not. I'm not totally silent. There is a couple of persons who knows, but really few. And yeah,
And those people that know, would they ever come to you for like prayer, or if they're having a hard time, do they come to you for any kind of spiritual help?
Readings mostly.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and most of the time I'm taking a step without them having to ask anything,
Right.
because they are close to me, so I'm concerned when they
Right.
are in trouble, so I'm trying to help anyway. So they come to me mostly for readings
Yeah.
if I'm unaware they are troubled by something. But that's it. I had one time someone who I think was trying to get me involved into something for someone else, but I didn't react because I knew it was a loss of energy and time. And if the person doesn't want to be better, doesn't want to be helped, doesn't want a lot of things, then you are wasting your time. So I didn't react. So in the end, no, I don't really had this kind of situation.
Yeah. And I don't have friends or family that would blatantly just disregard me and ask whoever I'm with to pray for them. Either they ask both of us to pray for them, or they don't ask either of us to pray for them. Because I think the fact that they do that speaks volumes of how they think of you.
Yeah.
You know, if that situation where, my husband and I, if he was Christian and I was a witch, and we went to go visit a friend who was Christian or just spiritual, and they would blatantly say, "Hey, Phoenix Witchwood, will you pray for me?" Although they'd use his real name, not Phoenix Witchwood, which was his name, magical name. Um, will you pray for me? And then not say anything to me, because it just speaks volumes about what they think of us. We wouldn't be going back to that person's house, let me tell you.
That's another story. Yeah, if someone just think that you are not good, or what you practice is bad or anything, it's so a waste of time and energy. Don't go there. Don't talk to this person
Yeah.
who have you have around you. I'm sure better person to communicate with, someone who won't judge you based on stupid shit.
Yeah, because my thought is, I'm trying to imagine what this scenario, how it unfolded. So these two people go to see their friend who's having a hard time, and they're going there clearly to hold space for them or to support them. And then this person asks the girlfriend to pray for them and totally disregards the other individual. I mean, what is that person thinking of you? I mean, if they clearly have a problem with what you believe, and then I don't know. It just rubs. It just that whole thing just does not feel healthy. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's not.
The last question I had, that was submitted prior, is: do you recharge and detoxify your own personal power or energy? Do you
Yeah.
recharge and detoxify your own personal power or energy?
If this is how you formulate and express meditation, yeah, I do. Maybe not as often as I should, obviously, especially this year. But yes, I try to, and I think we all should or might do, recharge ourselves and cleanse energy,
Yeah, yeah,
our energy.
yeah, I agree. I definitely do recharge, and doing Reiki on myself, and any kind of purification or cleansing, I feel like is definitely, purifying. spending time outside and grounding and centering, I feel like, is a form of recharging. I think if you're using, especially if you're using your own power in your craft instead of pulling from outside sources, meaning that, if you're doing spellcraft and you're pulling from the natural world, you're pulling from the giant willow tree in the front of your house, or you're pulling from a fire or a candle that you started, and you're pulling that energy into you and sort of moving it through you and then sending that out. That's one way to use, pull or siphon energy and then use it for your spell. But if you're not doing that and you're just using your own energy, then it's going to be necessary for you to recharge yourself, to sort of balance out your energy. Because if you don't, then you leave yourself very open and weak. You could definitely get sick from doing that. So
it's the same when, let's say, you are around someone who's toxic.
Yes,
it gonna go the same way. Then this individual gonna kind of feed. I'm not pointing an angry finger to any psychic vampire out there. I mean someone who is toxic. It can be someone who is feeding on your energy without even knowing it, and there is a lot of this out there. There is a lot of narcissistic personalities who does just that. So let's say you are living around such an individual, you will then need to recharge and cleanse your energy. Otherwise, you're gonna be really drained, and that can lead to, as you said, physical problem and being sick and all. So let's just think of it this way. Even if you don't have this kind of individual around you to speed up the process, anytime you're going to be in a difficult period of your life, you're going to deplete your energy, even if you are not using your own energy into your craft.
right.
If there is a lot of, I don't know, you've lost your job and you need to find a new one, but your kid is ill on the same time, maybe not bad with a bad illness, but just something annoying. It's something more on your shoulder, and then your cat decides to scratch every wall in your home. And there is sometimes, and especially for me, period like this where everything seems to swirl around you, then you gonna be drained, even if you do not use your own energy into your craft. So you need to replenish your vibration, your energy, your peacefulness by meditate and everything can do to that, to help that. So yes, do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even mundane things are definitely can deplete your energy. Most certainly. And we definitely, I mean, that's why people say, take a bath, self-care, all that is, recharging your own energy.
Absolutely, because there is a lot of ways. Again, it always depends on what you are comfortable with, what you believe is working for you, and always consider what we said about different techniques with those eyes. What works for you? What is okay for
Right,
you? What sounds right for you?
right,
Because
right,
that's the key point. If you are just following something you've read on a book, but that something doesn't appeal you, doesn't sound really right for you, this won't gonna work, I think. So always go for what it's proven for you to work, to be okay, to to work. There is no other word for in my head.
Yeah,
Right now.
I agree. So those were all the questions that were submitted prior. So now let's go to chat, and we're going to work in order the questions were received. So I know that some people have been asking questions, but we kind of have to go down the line. So what was the first question? I have to scroll back.
It was for Diamond Nick Burnett.
Dominique Burnett. Okay. Hello, my name is Elias. What is your stand and opinion when it comes to traditional witchcraft, modern eclectic, or personal self-made craft when it comes down to which is more effective? Which kitty is that?
It's Sam.
Salem.
There, yeah. Okay, so
More effective. Traditional witchcraft, modern eclectic, or personal self-made craft?
more effective.
I know.
Okay, the
Go ahead,
one
go for it.
for you, yeah, you can count on me for that. There is no more effective. The effectiveness gonna be in whichever you find yourself most comfortable with. It's easy. You are feeling it, so it's effective for you. You are doubtful, you are meh, it's not effective for you. And that's it. That's the
Yeah,
way how you look at things.
I agree.
It's easy, right?
I agree. Well, because I know some individuals who practice traditional witchcraft, and their spellcraft, they manifest. They're effective in their manifestation. I know people who are modern eclectics who are effective in their manifestation. Personal self-made witches, it's effective. But I also know each of those categories where their witchcraft isn't effective, and they're always sort of like saying, why can't I manifest? Why are my spells not working? So it's going to depend on the individual and how they're working. I mean, if you're trying, it's almost like, going to the store and buying a piece of clothing that isn't your size. Can you get it on? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Maybe you can't zipper it if it's too small for you, or maybe it's too big for you, but it'll cover you. But is it effective in doing what it's supposed to do for you? So you need to find the witchcraft or the magical practice that works for you, that aligns with you.
That suits you.
Exactly.
I love the example with the piece of clothes. That was a really good one.
I think you should do what makes you happiest. What do you think about that? I agree. I mean, if you're happy in your craft, if you're happy in your practice, if you have joy, then you are going to be more effective in what you're trying to manifest.
Yeah, because it's a powerful source of energy.
Mm-hmm.
As witches, or whatever name you want to put on what you do, we are using energy. We use energy to provoke changes. So the
Mm-hmm.
more energy you raise, the more effective you're going to be.
Yeah, the more momentum you build, the more energy you raise. Exactly. And the way that you can send it out to your target, the more focused you are. I'm sure you've heard of examples of people trying to cast spells, and then all of a sudden the phone rings or something pulls them out of their focus. Then the spell kind of falls apart. So having a focus, building the energy, sending it to the target, having a strong visualization, all these things. And does it matter which form of witchcraft you're following? No.
Absolutely not. You can even don't follow a specific path. Eclectic is pretty good. Also, whatever some people can think about an eclectic witchcraft. For me, almost every path is coming from an eclectic ground. We are all made of humanity, not just a specific path. So being eclectic is as good as practicing high magic, kind of a very ritualistic practice. Everything is perfectly okay as long as you are comfortable with that, as long as it suits you.
I guess Stormy Night is talking about having a hard time shielding. She didn't really ask a question other than, I don't know why I just can't get shielding.
It can happen sometimes. It's difficult to have any clever comments on that because we don't know where she is at what point in her life, what her state of mind. But
I mean, maybe, and here's the thing, maybe, protecting yourself, maybe shielding just isn't how you are meant to do it at this time. Maybe a different form of protection would help you. And maybe just the shielding doesn't work for you. Maybe that's not your thing. Just because everybody talks about shielding and putting up a shield, maybe that just isn't your thing. Maybe you're not resonating with that. And maybe that's not the way for you to protect yourself at this time, and you are meant to use a different technique.
Yeah, if you are working with any entities or spirits, maybe you can then ask for help. Ask your spirit guides,
Right. Spirit guides or angels or allies or whatever you work with.
help you to shield yourself, to protect your home. Ask for help anyway. If you are in a good relationship with whatever spirit allies or entities you've got, they're gonna lend a hand.
I agree.
Ask for help. Ask for help, yeah. Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Runes. Brooklyn Dorsey.
Oh, yeah.
Runes were what spoke to me. Do you think that could be due to my African American and Native American ancestry? Well,
Because the tarot never felt a calling towards tarot, and they feel a calling towards runes instead.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it depends. It depends from so much things. We are all different. Let's put it that way. We are all different, and things not gonna talk the same to all of us. Why is it this way? There is zillion answers to that. So I don't know.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it could be because, I mean, if you think about, I mean, African American and Native American ancestry, maybe, I mean, when they when they would communicate with each other, was it more in pictographs? Did they use symbols instead of words? I mean, were they writing words? Were they using more symbolic things? Maybe that's why. Maybe throwing a stone, maybe you're a more physical person, you like the active thing of throwing stones or casting stones. Maybe that calls to some sort of aspect of who you are as a human being. Yeah, I mean, like Obsidian said, there's all different things to take into consideration. I think the main point is if you're not feeling a calling towards tarot, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. And if you feel that the runes are the thing for you because of your roots, so it's probably that. If you feel that deep inside, so that's probably your answer. You need to find your own answers too.
Yeah.
Know yourself, which is know yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. Benabelle.
Yeah, I've seen her, but
Devil's advocate. Is it possible the friend was trying to respect the non-Christian friend, assuming the non-Christian friend doesn't believe in prayer? Oh, back to the example, that question. Yeah, I definitely, maybe. Maybe the person, okay, so what she's saying is, so in the example, like I said, my husband and myself, I'm the non-Christian. We'll pretend my husband is the Christian. We went to go see a friend who is either Christian or spiritual in nature, because the person who asked the question didn't say whether that person they were visiting was Christian or not. And the friend asks my husband to pray for them, but doesn't ask me. So Benabelle's suggesting that maybe that friend we went to go see was trying to respect me in not asking me to pray for them, that they were maybe, because they knew I didn't believe in prayer, maybe that's why they didn't ask me. And they weren't trying to be rude. They were just trying to be respectful in that way.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, let me see. I don't know if the original question said that the person was Christian or not. Let me just reread what
anyway, Christian or any other.
They didn't say. They just said, I think there was an assumption that that person was Christian, because the question began with, I live in the Bible Belt. So I mean, I guess it could go either way. I mean, and my thought is, maybe if you are, if this is a close friend of yours and you feel comfortable in having a conversation, you could open up with, I don't, if you want to do something for this friend who's having the hard time, if you don't believe in prayer, you could say, I don't believe in prayer, but are you open to me helping you in a way I am comfortable with helping you? Or if you are a non-Christian who still believes in prayer and uses prayer in your practice as a witch, you could offer, I can say a prayer for you too. And then you'll definitely know whether the person is
sure
being nice or being respectful.
Yeah. In my opinion, if this other person was trying to not to be rude by asking a prayer, if assuming you don't believe in it, then it could have been said differently. Like, I don't want to bother you with this because I think this is not your thing, so I won't ask you.
Yeah.
There is a way to put that.
Yeah, the person, I mean, to play devil's advocate, the person may not know how to handle it. The person, that friend may feel uncomfortable because they don't want to offend you, and they might have just gone about it in the wrong way. I mean, my thought is, have a conversation with this person if you're comfortable having a conversation with them, because then maybe you'll open a dialogue that might deepen the friendship. I mean, if they're just, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to offend you. I didn't know how to bring it up. I don't want you to be mad at me,
Maybe you can try it if you are.
If you're daring. No.
Yeah.
It would definitely depend on how close you are to this friend and how important this friendship is for you.
Yeah, because the first move of this person isn't really nice. In my opinion, not really mean either, but not so good anyway. So if you want to use your time for that or no.
Right. Yeah. And only you can decide that, obviously, depending on your relationship with this friend and the history with this friend. And so Malkuth X wants to know, were the tarot cards originally made to help understand the tree of life in Kabbalah?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know you can use the tarot to get a deeper insight into the Kabbalah. You definitely can. There are images in the Rider-Waite of the Tree of Life
Yes, a lot.
in there. Benabel in the chat, I'm sure, can answer some of that too.
Yeah. There is a lot of references into it but I tend to think that there is such a huge bunch of references because it probably comes from a ground really imbued with those religions.
Mm.
And so there are symbols and images and everything like this who speaks to people who is already there, so why not use it? But in the end, I tend to think that tarot cards were designed, made to help divination process, not to understand, especially the Kabbalah or anything else.
And of course, I'm reading down in the chat, and Benabel does answer this for us. Yay. She said, no, I wouldn't say the tarot was made to understand the Kabbalah, but some Western mystery traditions might assert that you need to understand the Kabbalah to understand the tarot. A lot of the late 19th and early 20th century occultists perpetuated the connection between tarot and the Kabbalah. And then she suggests you might enjoy Eliphas Levi's Transcendental Magic. So Malkuth, there you go.
Yeah. So in the end, yeah, no, it was made for divination. It was what I was saying. Cheaty English, but still.
Right. But I know that there are some images of the Tree of Life, but like you said, it's sort of like intertwined, and it was created in that sort of influenced by the things that were happening at the time that it was created. Yeah.
Plus, the Kabbalah was intertwined with different religions in the ancient world. So there deep roots in imagery, in symbols, in everything else. And it was intertwined with Egyptians, for example, or Greek beliefs at the time. So there is really deep roots there. So to me, it appears logical that those kind of symbolism, and imagery are used into a tool designed back in the day for divination, especially in a time where occultism, as Benabel said, when occultism was really a thing. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Per Bugaloo, hello. I admire the pentacle you place on your cauldron. I was wondering where you found that. Oh, I've bought it at the metaphysical shop that I used to read tarot at back in Massachusetts. I've seen it in numerous metaphysical shops, though. It's really just a metal pentacle. I think if you search online, there are a whole bunch of different stores that carry that kind of thing. I know I've seen them in Salem, in a lot of the shops in Salem. So depending on where you are from, per Bugaloo, you might be able to find it online or in a local metaphysical witchy shop. Yay. That's all the questions. And we have like 10 minutes.
So shoot, people.
Yes.
If you have
ask us questions.
Ask. Go for it.
So I don't think I put this video up yet, but since Benabel's in the chat, I got my Spirit Keeper's tarot. I love it. It is so beautiful. Benabel, you do such a wonderful job. And I have a video I got to load up, at least to the Facebook page, the first thing I do when I get a new deck, look at it, so pretty. Look at shiny. the first thing I do is I go through the deck and I look at the images, and I don't read the books. And I didn't, even though I have a few of her books to go with it. Look at this freaking. Okay, so this is the book of maps. Look how huge this book is, man. It is chock full of information. Huh?
It's the Tarot's Bible.
I know. And then I got her other the medium white book, because of course it comes with the, the little white book. And then so I got the medium one because then I got the Bible. So I mean, come on now.
You're all set.
I'm
You're
all
so
set.
ready.
I am so ready. It's true. So the first thing though is when I open the deck, I go through every card and I pull out the ones that like I'm drawn to. Yeah, I do that with every new deck.
Yeah.
And I have a video that I'm going to put up showing the ones that I'm really drawn to. But I figure unless someone has any questions, let me know. I hope people feel encouraged to read intuitively, though. No right or wrong. Oh, I agree. I agree. So these are the few cards that first like really drew me in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this was one of them. Oh my God. Can you guys see?
Oh yeah.
So this is called what? The Ferryman. 6 of Swords.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. This one, the Initiate.
I need to pull down my. Oh, nice. Love that.
I like that one too. That one really called to me. I mixed some of them up. I thought I had them all out, but I didn't. Oh, darn. I'm not going to be able to share anymore because I don't remember what other ones did. Because now if I go through it, I'll be picking different ones now, right? But I'll put up the video, at least in the Weird Witches Witchcraft group. I don't know if I'm going to put it here on the Seeker was one of them, I think, too. The Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know that you would have picked that one, too.
Yeah, sure.
I know you would have. And the Dark Horse, I know, was one of them. I like this one, too. Oh, there's a glare. Nice. And you know what, Annabelle, I really like about your deck is it's like a matte finish. Like it's smooth, but it's not like that super glossy one. So I can seriously just sit here and just rub the cards because they have that. I like the finish. I like it. But yeah.
Annabelle has a question actually.
Oh, she does.
Yes, she does.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
I don't know. What? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm gonna.
Yeah, you have to go back and watch some of the videos. So, there is a few videos. I was actually watching She Who Walks Between the Worlds video on Community and Clicks. There's this topic, click, meaning like, oh, there's videos that display just totally explain what a click is. How I would define a click is a group within a community that sort of, like Mean Girls. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh, it's exactly the same thing in French. So, okay, don't go further.
Is it? It is the same thing.
All right. So,
yeah, a clique, a group that kind of excludes other people, right?
Yeah, I know.
So there's this topic going around saying that within the community, and did it start in the tarot community? I don't know if it started in the tarot community, but I couldn't even say within the pagan community. There are cliques that are there, and that if there are outsiders, and then there are people in cliques.
Now there is
the jokes. Personally, huh?
No, I was. Don't
personally, even in high school, I don't feel like I've ever belonged to any one particular clique. I sort of was a person I was friends with jocks, people who were on sporting teams. I was friends with the geeks. I was friends with the nerds. I was friends with the theater kids. I was friends with the chess club. I was friends with people who were in band. I never really belonged to just one group. So I kind of felt very outside because I never felt like I was a jock or I was a geek or I never felt like I totally belonged to one group. So coming to YouTube, and I've been on YouTube now for over a decade. I never felt, and I don't feel like I belong to just one group. I mean, yes, I am a pagan witch. So basically that's my big community, but I read tarot and I have friends who are in the tarot community. I have friends who are in the witchcraft community. I have friends who are kind of on the gamer community. I know people and people who write. So I'm friends with people in like the author community. So I don't know. I never really felt like I belonged to any one community. So it kind of, or clique, it kind of makes me feel like I've kind of always been on the outskirts. And sometimes it makes me sad. There have been times in my YouTube career or involvement where I felt kind of like I never really belonged anywhere. So I have been witness to cliques of people who will exclude other people. I have seen that happen. I have interfered and tried to help the person who was sort of excluded. They were trying to kind of get introduced into a community, and the people were really mean and rude to this person. And I tried to help this person. This was years ago because I felt like it was mean, but I've seen it happen. So I can't say that there aren't cliques, but I do think it's something that happens when you get large groups of people together. People end up connecting, and sometimes they're unaware that they're excluding people, and sometimes they are aware that they're excluding people. I mean,
aware, in my opinion.
well, sometimes they do it purposefully, but I think sometimes, like in if I'm having a good time, let's take it back to like school. When I was in school, if I was hanging out with my friend Erin and my friend Beth and my friend Chris and Carolyn, and we were having fun, and after, fifth period, we went across the street to Carvel ice cream for an ice cream cone, we would not invite other people. It would just be us. It would be our little group. Did that mean we were intentionally excluding other people? No. We were just so caught up in what we were doing together as our own little group that we didn't think to invite other people. Did that make us bad? No. I don't think so. But other people may look at that and think that we did, I don't know. Relationships and community and people and energy exchanges can get so complicated. But I do think there are groups that gravitate towards each other. And I think sometimes people get excluded. Sometimes it's intentional and sometimes it's not. I don't think it's cut and dry.
Yeah, no, it's probably not cut and dry, but coming to the YouTube community and everything that involves social medias, I think there is underneath a conflict to have more views and more attention and more look at me, I'm so awesome, I'm the new trendy witch. No, this, I think there is a lot of this.
I do think there's a lot of drama, and I think sometimes the drama is encouraged to get views. I do.
Yeah,
I think it's manufactured sometimes too.
Yeah, I'm sorry to express something that harsh, but I'm sure viewers came to get used to it now. But in this, and if they're not, well, so sorry, but in this specific communities on social medias, there is a lot of narcissistic. Um, um, how do you say? Ulterior motives. You know,
like narcissistic personalities that.
yes, there is a lot, and so their wishes goes accordingly,
Yeah.
and the dramas goes accordingly, and the clique gonna be made out of that because it's a war to be the most trendy thing, getting the more views, the more comments, and being in the YouTube recommendations, and it revolves a lot around this on every kind of media, every kind, because unfortunately our society, I mean, in the country where we are lucky enough to have money and time to waste on things like this, okay? Because when you need to walk for 20 kilometers to find water, believe me, you have something else to do with your time than going on YouTube, being putting out their dramas for no reason.
Yeah.
So when you are lucky enough to have time for that, on our society, there is a lot of superficial things. It's about how people going to look at you. Oh, are they going to like you? Are you the prettiest around? Are you this? Are you that? And it's all about yourself in your own glory. And there is a lot of that out there on social media.
There is.
That's my thoughts about cliques or even individual who are so narcissistic and who wants to be watched and loved, and there is too much of that. So that's my thought about it. That's narcissistic dramas, and I don't fucking care about that.
She doesn't fucking care about that.
Yeah, because
that's how we're going to end the show.
Just think, go walk, go talk to the trees. You're gonna be more rooted. Stop talking shit on YouTube, on everything, or everywhere else for that matters.
Yeah. Agreed. Yes.
Yeah, it's too bad. The community, sorry, the community needs to have just open mind people, and there is also nice people, just open minded, who are not there to for their own sake and just want to share things. That's refreshing. That's good.
Yeah. That's what I'd like to hope that we do. Just
I don't know, but I hope to.
I'd like to hope that that's what we do. But we actually went over a little bit, but so that wraps it up for Obsidian Fire and I. Next week, I will be talking with Aaron Lozano from Turtle Heart Tarot, and that next week will be the last show before the hiatus. Like I said before, my Saturday Practical Witchcraft series is still going on until January, so you'll at least get that every Saturday, but probably not much else between now and October.
Oh, baby.
So you can find me on Weird Witches Witchcraft in the Facebook group over. It is a closed group, but it's closed not because we're excluding anybody, but because it was an open group at one time, but because there are people in the group that are not out of the broom closet with some of their family and friends on Facebook, and they only have the one account. They asked me to make it a closed group so that nobody can find it and nobody can accidentally see their posts. So I did not create the group to be clicky. But it's because people that were joining didn't want family and friends to see what they were posting in the group. And that's the only reason why it's closed. I will say that Obsidian and I have denied entry to some people who it is clear their Facebook was just created to join the group.
Yep.
Generally, we would like people who have an already existing Facebook to join. If you are someone who is like, I don't have Facebook, but I'd like to join the group, then send me a message and let me know that, hey, I'm so-and-so and I've been in your YouTube and I am actually on, I've been around, I've been following, I've been talking to you, I've been interacting with you in your channel. This is a Facebook group, a Facebook I just created. Let us know that and we'll definitely allow you in.
Let you in, yeah. Because, there is a bunch of strange people too on Facebook, so we need to be careful for the members, for the people who are in it with us. Yeah, you don't want to let in anybody.
And Benabella, I know it sounds like I'm being defensive, but after I watched a couple of those videos, and someone made a point to say that people with closed Facebook groups are doing so because they want to be in a clique. This is my response to that. It was closed not because we were trying to create a clique. Like I said, I never felt like I belonged in a clique. I never felt like I fit into a clique. So I'm not being defensive, although maybe it sounds like I am. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, for me, the way I understood defensive was not the right way. I was thinking that we were protecting our members, and I didn't.
Yeah, so she was suggesting that I was like.
Yeah, I understand. I understand now, but I didn't realize it. Okay, it's been a week. I didn't sleep much, so I'm sorry. The last
she's picking on me. See, she's being. She's mean.
I'm just being dumb. I didn't.
Are you kidding? She can pick on me, and I'm sure she can pick on you because I have nothing but love for Benabella. Are you kidding? Nothing but love for you. All right. So yeah, now we're really going over. Now it's 9:40. We're 10 minutes over. We're ending it. So find us over on Facebook. Obsidian is over there.
Yes, I am. I'm not.
You're being a mean girl. Benabella, I have to end the video. So until next week, everyone.
Yeah, and for me, it's until October because you won't see me again. So for those of you who are interested in that, you're gonna see me again in October. And for those of you who are bored by me, too bad. I will be back. So enjoy your quiet time without me over there. See you in October. Have a nice summer. Replenish your energy. Do what you have to do to feel happy. And I see you in October. Bye-bye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Salut tout le monde.
There we go. Love you all. See you next week. Mwah. Blessed be.